What's good, everybody? Welcome back to episode 12 of the Homage Continues. This week, we're taking it to Large Pro, Main Source. Not to be confused with his group Main Source, first album, Breaking Atoms. This is Large Pro's solo album. Came out in 2008. Officially his second album, although his first album wasn't released in 1996. So this would have been his third, but this ended up coming out kind of like Cormega's Testament album as his third album, even though it was his first and it wasn't released. That's the beat I ended up using, called Are You Dope, Dap and Noid Part 2, instrumental. It's one of the shorter songs on Head Nod Music Volume 2. One of the shortest songs, if not the shortest song on this album by Large Pro 2. And I gave 2 10s out so far during the series. This is going to be the third 10 I'm giving out. This album is untouchable. I couldn't change it to make it better in any way. From production to the lyricism to the track listing to the transitions to everything. The mixing, the mastering, everything is perfect on this album. It's a great modern day boom bap album. It came out in 2008, but it sounds like if it came out today that it came out with all the state-of-the-art production. It just sounds perfect. All the beats are produced by Large Pro except for one, produced by Marco Polo. Marco Polo is another dope producer. Check out the Brooklyn Story with him and Master Ace. But yeah, Large Pro made his debut in his group Main Source on this album called Breaking Atoms. And then he later would make this album Main Source, but it's his solo album by Large Professor. And this first album that he was a part of the group Breaking Atoms on Main Source includes Nas's first official public appearance of all time on the track Live at the Barbecue. This came out in 1991. Just figured I'd check this out. Classic song. If you haven't heard this, man, you gotta check this out. Live at the Barbecue. Nas's first verse ever. Pretty tone shit. When I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. Nasty Nas is a rebel to America. Police murderer, I'm causing hysteria. Okay, so that's a classic album right there, Main Source. We're not gonna get into that. But I have that on my left here. As you see, I got 4 vinyl here. Me and my homie Paul are big Large Pro fans. This is arguably Paul's favorite album, like, ever. I also heard MC Search put this in as one of his favorite albums of all time. I agree with that, man. This can go up against anything. But yeah, so I got Breaking Atoms, Main Source's first album here. Main Source has 2 group albums. Large Pro was only a part of the first one. I don't know exactly what happened. They had business differences. I actually met Mikey D. He's a really dope MC who's in Main Source and was on their second album and held down the lyricism on there. But Large Pro was missing from the production. He ended up going on to work with Kool G Rap on his second album, Wanted Dead or Alive. This came out in 1990, which I was trying to figure out because this came out before this. So I don't know how Kool G Rap maybe heard a single by Large Pro or heard his production before this album even came out and got him to work on this album. But some of the production on here is ridiculous. And I think Large Pro didn't get all the credit he deserved. He kind of got co-production credits. Kind of like how Eric B takes credit for Rakim's production and maybe DJ Polo is taking some credit here. I'm not sure how it went down. But here's just one track called Death Wish off this album that one of my favorites. Just to give you an example, because Large Pro is double threat. Producer, NMC, and DJ, triple threat. Motherfuckers on the milk carton. Okay, just to give a little brief history for those who don't know Large Professor. You should know Nas, right? His first album, Illmatic. Well, Large Pro did 3 beats on here. So Large Pro was primarily known for his production being his, like, I guess, main contribution to hip-hop, but he is just as good as a lyricist and MC as he is a producer, in my opinion. And I've seen him live at the Vinyl Room at Wappinger Falls. He was spinning 45s, you know, so he's a great DJ also. So he's a triple threat, as I said. And he did 3 songs on Nas's Illmatic, including One Time for Your Mind, Halftime, and It Ain't Hard to Tell. For those who don't know, man, if you haven't heard Halftime, you need to check out Halftime. Okay, and then It Ain't Hard to Tell, if you haven't heard this. Classic material. Okay, but yeah, back to Wanted Dead or Alive. I got that over here on my right because he did a majority of the production, if not all of it, on that album. And then I got his other 2 solo albums besides Main Source here. We got First Class, which came out in 2002. This would technically be his debut solo album because the LP did not come out in 1996 as it was intended to, and then ended up coming out in, I believe, 2003. Well, actually, I'm not sure. When did that come out? 2009. Yeah, this came out 2009, the year after this. So he dropped Main Source, incredible album, and then he put out this, which was an unreleased project. And I just figured I'd throw a couple of these joints on there because this album is really dope too. Busting out the woodworks on all rap jerks. It's me, Lars Cole, kid, the one that perks up the party. Whenever it's time to drop mine, I come through correct with the power to shine. Okay. And then this one, The Mad Scientist, is one of my favorites. I call the Mad Scientist Extra P, about to set up shop and drop this next degree. And he refers to himself as Extra P. That's why I call my track Extra P, that I used his beat. I'm just paying homage to Large Pro. I love his production. I love everything about this dude. And this album, I might give it 10 also. And here's just one more from the album. Large Proverbs, or Proverbs. Woo! Sunrise in my eyes, time flies. Pick a book up and read, now I'm wise. To the fact, when the duck goes whack, a snake might rattle in an ongoing battle. Damn, man. Can't get enough of that shit. And then First Class, as I said, was his first album, came out in 2002. And I just figured to give you one track off here. This is a really dope album too. I would give it a 9 point something. And this is a beat that Nas ended up using for a track called Star Wars, which is really dope too. But yeah, this album's really dope, entirely produced by Large Pro, if I'm not mistaken. 2002, debut. Okay, if you're not convinced that he's worth listening to, then I don't know what more you could ask for. But let's get into the main album on this episode. I just figured I'd give you a little backstory as to Large Pro, what he's been a part of, man. Check out the Cool G Rap, Wanted Dead or Alive. Check out Main Source, Breaking Atoms. Check out the LP and First Class as well. But if you haven't heard anything and you want to start with this, I guarantee this would be a great introduction to Large Pro, and you'll probably be a fan for life after this. And if not, then you just have a different taste in hip-hop, and that's fine. You're missing out, though, and I feel bad for you. The first track on this is called The Entrance. We got 17 tracks on here. 17 for 17, in my opinion. This shit is ridiculous. One, two, one, two. One, two. One, two, one, two. Large Pro is the ultimate dope shit. Found the culprits. Now the folk hits their mind. Off to another different time. I beat down street clown, hit him with the 3-pound, bust off and be out, and ski out, the thunderclap legend. Okay, really dope. Then it goes into the next track, Hot, Sizzling, Scorching, Blazing. Hot, Sizzling, Scorching, Torching, Blazing, actually. Every track on here is ridiculous. Great in the car, great on vinyl, great on CD. Lost Professor, new scientific lab testimonial series. Brought to you from Queens. Hot, sizzling, scorching, torching, blazing. Hot, sizzling, scorching, torching, blazing. Sizzling, scorching, torching, blazing, flaming new sound for flushing the Beijing. Hear it on the radio, see it on the station. 90 million times for your heavy rotation. Can't stop the pro.
Damn.
Sizzling, scorching.
This next track, my homie Paul's favorite track, I think. It's called Make a Living, featuring Killer Shah and Guardian Leap. Probably recognize that sample. Flipped it perfectly.
On the corners that's hustling dope to the big corporate owners like Russell and Joe. Everybody gotta make a living. Each day is like Thanksgiving. You open your eyes, open your lives. Gonna get a lot better. Wanna see a lot of cheddar. Some of us go without no sleep. It's time to set up shop.
Okay. Next track, pump your fist like this. Damn, and that track is featuring Mikey D, who was in the Main Source group on this album, Breaking Atoms, and he does a majority of the lyricism on the second Main Source album because Large Pro wasn't part of it. But he's featured on that track as well, along with Lotto. The next track's called Party Time. Every song's dope, man, I'm telling you. Alright, next track, In the Ghetto. Every track has a different vibe, kinda. Each track can hold its own, but it's all cohesive and part of this masterpiece. No weak link on any of these tracks.
Young girls jumping double dutch, high niggas rolling up, kids in the yard playing two-hand touch, baby moms pushing newborn, man with the suit on, coming home from work, young hustler with the two-door, baby slapping handballs, workers coming out of manholes, graffiti vandals, fake pimps and hoes, pops in the sandals, fussing with the landlords, I'm waiting on the bus, waiting by the lamppost, shorty with the grand folks, buying them mad clothes.
And this next track, produced by Marco Polo. Like I said, one of the illest producers right now in hip-hop. Check him out, man. A Brooklyn Story with Master Ace just came out a couple years ago. I might give that a 10 also for a modern album. That's a flawless album, great production. You can tell you learn from the best. Next track, Frantic Bars. Next track, So In Love.
You did exactly what I want you to. Latitude, longitude, gotta do the longitude. When I'm in the dungeon, baby, you lift me out of that. Strings are not attached to our love. Really what I never knew the power of. Us rhymes bust when I'm on you, I touch the right circus. I'm with you cause life is a circus. And you're the only thing that's real is how I feel. And the way that we met, shall never forget.
Hell yeah. Now this is part one of the Are You Dope and Dappinoid? Are You Dope Dappinoid?
I'm a dope fiend, addicted to the microphone. I probably wouldn't even shower and shit. I be running the streets trying to get my next hit.
And if I had a chick, I'd be pimping that bitch. She be walking the beat all caught up in the mix. And the dough that she got for tricks I use for my next hit. And if she bagged the bro couldn't get shit, I could cut this high off and inject that heat. Close my eyes and feel the beat. Dope got me nodding off in the street. I only think of
Damn, alright, so that's J. Rue the Damager, part of the Gangstar Foundation, one of my favorite MCs. I put his 2 albums up, I believe, while we were doing the Group Home Living Proof album. That's part of the Gangstar Foundation. And these next 2 tracks feature J. Rue the Damager and Lil Dap from Group Home. There's 3 parts to the Are You Dopin' Dappinoid? And that was the first part. They're all, I think, 16-bar verses, pretty short tracks. The second one is the one I used for Head Not Music Volume 2, Are You Dope Dappinoid Part 2, and this is featuring Lil Dap from Group Home.
Yo, I did show you lost Professor plus Biggie Smalls, Tupac Shakur. Watch your brother start to get raw, like hip hop, body rock, give a dog a bone. Watch your brother get busy and take you in the zone, like packing a 2-5 in his nickel-plated chrome. Rock the Apollo and the Muse in the club red zone. Tell them little mountain cats back it up, get in your zone. No more playing with smucks, let's hunt these ducks. I go by any means necessary when it's for us. Stains on my brain, keep a brother really focused, like back to back with hardcore lyrics I adapt. No matter what you do, we can't be sidetracked. Lyrically, mentally, don't make us grab the gas fast on these cats. Sit back and start to relax like Big Dap.
And it goes right into the next track, featuring Big Noid. So that's a dope part of the album because you got 3 16-bar verses on 3 different beats by 3 dope MCs that aren't Large Pro. So it's him just focusing on the production and letting other MCs shine. And J. Rue the Damager is never going to let you down. Lil Dap from Group Home has never let me down. And then Big Noid, the Mobb Deep affiliate. I don't know if he's in the Infamous Mob, but I know he's a Mobb Deep affiliate. I still see him featured all over the place with Havoc and those dudes. But yeah, those 3 tracks in a row are really dope and kind of takes a break from Large Pro on the lyricism. Not that I want a break or need a break from him rhyming, but it's cool to hear the features like that. The next track is a solo by Large Pro called Classic Emergency.
Classic, classic, classic.
Damn.
Classic, classic, classic.
Every track is
Classic,
banger.
classic, classic. Classic, classic, classic.
Classic too.
Classic, classic, classic.
Very classic material. Timeless.
Classic,
Ageless.
classic,
Never gets old.
classic.
Better with every listen.
Emergency, please someone call Large Professor. Them whack jack niggas in the industry messed up the game. Now hip hop is not the same as yesterday. And yo, his code name Extra P. I know he could come through with that recipe like KFC, cause now it's a necessity for us. And then laws we trust from now on. I wonder in the world how old these fake gangster pimps that rhyme over these Sims got on. Jamaican dread said they get shot on.
That's hip hop right there, man. Like, this is like unadulterated hip hop, uncensored, just like the purest hip hop. Like, this is it, man. So like anything less than this just sounds like phony to me. It really does. It just sounds phony. You guys are so phony. Compared to this, like, whatever you're saying and whatever beat you're rhyming to is just not authentic compared to this. So like, with this as the standard as a 10, and the Big Pun, Capital Punishment as a 10, Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth as a 10, like, it's hard to go from this to whatever is popular right now. Like, that shit is trash. It's not even up to opinion. Like, that shit's just trash. This next track's called Rockin' Hip Hop. You know what I mean? We're carrying on tradition, repping hip hop the way it's supposed to be done.
Watching TV, playing games on the phone for hours. Remind me of the days when I was my super strength powers embrace you and make you do the right thing. Now get on your HU, STLE, extra LP. The front door, kid, let's stay healthy. Next is wealthy, then comes wise, and I like eating A1 sauce on fries. What do you like? I like bike riding on my new bike and taking you to new heights with that rockin' hip hop.
All right, next track. We got 3 more. It's called Large Pro Says. This one's really dope. This one gets me pumped up. Great gym music.
says. Do the bounce, little miss, like you from down south. Do the bounce, little miss, like you from down south. Do the bounce, little miss, like you from down south. Do the bounce, little miss, like you from down south. Put your wrist to the sound, then turn it around. Put your wrist to the sound, then turn it around. Put your wrist to the sound, then turn it around. Put your wrist to the sound, then turn it around. Now get low, now get high, now get sideways, now get by, now get low, now get high, now get sideways, now get by. You looking fly, girl, the way you dip dive. You looking fly, the way you dip dive. You looking fly, the way you dip dive. Now, fellas, now, fellas, now, fellas,
Large Bro says.
all the boys that make noise,
Make noise, yeah, yeah. Make noise, yeah, yeah. The make noise, yeah. All the boys that make noise, make noise.
Yeah, you ain't think I could do that type of shit, did you? Right, Large Pro. Now you know.
I love that shit. This next track is called To the Meadows.
Who's that rich fella driving around with the rough instrumental, providing the sound for the concrete jungle? Nieces call him uncle, stays rock solid. Nah, he won't crumble. It's cold, be the baddest of them all. Slicker than oil, snakes can't coil. Worked and toiled on this earth and soil, planting seeds and trees that'll worth grand royal.
That's what's really dope too about Large Pro. He's a great storyteller as well. I would suggest listening to looking at the front door off the first album. That was like the main hit off here. He can do deeper storytelling songs, heartfelt songs. He can be vulnerable. He can be as hardcore as anybody. You know, he's rocking the Timberlands, man. He's representing Queens too. I don't know if I mentioned that. He's from Queens. One of my favorite songs, Queens Lounge, off of this project too. But yeah, Large Pro is capable of doing any type of song. And this album is proof of that. Got 17 tracks on here. None of them are really repeating the same theme or message as the other one. And this last track is called The Hardest and is featuring AZ and Styles P. So you know it's gonna be dope.
Go in, I'm the PHANT, OMGH.
Bitches as the talk money.
Niggas, I'm busting $1,000 rounds.
I'm the rap James Bond. My crack case gone. Got a cuffed in the court. Had my Mac face on. Funny walk, money talk. Toe black, stay calm. He up north like a boss. Tatted half his arm. Slid his mom 7 grand. Told her hold that down. We fam, it go low, then I go back round. I'm as vicious as the village, you know. Only difference is consistence. I'm considered a pro. From the trenches till I'm dead and I'm inches below. It's not important to wait.
Can't go wrong with AZ ever. One of my favorite MCs. Large Pro, main source. This album 10 out of 10. I'm glad I was able to use one of the instrumentals. I wasn't sure which one I was going to go with. I think I looked at a bunch of these instrumentals on this album. I ended up going with the Are You Dope and Dap. I keep saying that track wrong. Are You Dope, Dap, and Noid. Part 2. That's the one I ended up using for Head Nod Music Volume 2. I'll be dropping a quick video for that tomorrow. I apologize for the delay. I wasn't sure if I was going to even get to this week. But I figured if I can do these before Sunday, I'm still doing it within the week. So hope you're having a good weekend. Happy Saturday. And this would be a good album to bump on a day like today. Honestly, on the weekend, throw this in the car. Bump it on Spotify, because I'm assuming a lot of you don't have physicals. But check this out, man. Check out Large Professor. Check him out as a solo artist, but also as a producer. Don't forget, he produced 3 of your favorite tracks on Illmatic. He produced some of your favorite Cool G Rap tracks. He produced also a lot of stuff for Intelligent Hoodlum, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Lord Finesse, Big Daddy Kane, Tribe Called Quest, Mobb Deep, Organized Confusion, and a whole bunch of other people. So check out Large Pro. He's still active. He's still dropping stuff. And yeah, man, representing Queens. Nas's first appearance ever, credited to this album here that Large Pro made the beat for, man. I mean, what more could you ask for? This is hip-hop history. He's a huge part of hip-hop and where it came from. And he's carrying on tradition in a way that a lot of people aren't capable of and don't have the integrity to do or the skill set. But he does. We need to support people like this. And yeah, check out the LP in First Class as well. And until next time, the homage continues. Peace.